What is up, chatbots and digital marketing podcast listeners? This is Carl Schickert for another interview that I did today. In fact, we are on episode number 20, and I brought on my good friend Dave Robards, who is one of the top sales managers for Grant Cardone. We've been friends for literally over 17 years. I think it's more closer to like 18 and 19. We go back sometime way before marketing, way before I even did sales. We grew up here in the Reno, Nevada area. And we went on to build marketing businesses, including Dave, my good friend who I'm going to bring here on in just a minute, working for Grant Cardone at the early stages over 5 years ago when Grant was just starting to hit social media very, very hot and has practically become very famous online because of it. In fact, back then I go into the story about how Dave introduced me to Grant on some videos, and at that time I had no idea who he was. So it's pretty phenomenal. Now, while we were doing this interview here last week when I filmed it, we were having some internet issues because I went and did it live to an audience for our internal users, our in-house very small user base that we use for our agency holders, and it's kind of our like secret group. But I'm not going to go into that. But what I do want to mention is that during that call, we had the celebrity golf tournament going on here in Lake Tahoe, and we had 20, 50, 60,000 people up here for this event. Everybody's probably on their phone, and it was eating away at our bandwidth. And so literally the first half, not the first half, but a good first chunk of the interview just got lost. Unfortunately, I wasn't actually like recording my during the call. I wasn't recording with some sort of secondary unit. I was just using our webinar platform. So what I'll do is I'll just tell you real quickly. We talked a little bit about our upbringing. We talked about where we came from. We both have similar past where we came from no money and our family was living paycheck to paycheck. So I'm going to cut into myself right now where we talk a little bit about living paycheck to paycheck, but then we jump right into the meat of the information, which we talk about frequency, we talk about money, and we talk about motivation and commitment. I think this is going to be a stellar podcast for you guys, regardless of where you're finding this at. But if you do find it and you enjoy it, make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you hit the share button. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and also on Facebook. Just depends on where you get the opportunity to see this. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take it back to the interview. Paycheck to paycheck. Think about that, guys, for a minute. That was doing well. That was the benchmark.
Yes. If we actually made it to the next paycheck, we're like, okay, we're okay.
Made it to the next paycheck, we're okay. And some months, some weeks, the paycheck didn't.
It didn't happen. And then, it was scary sometimes. I didn't know what money was. I just knew we never had it.
Wow, guys. So that mentality that you kind of were, I want to say, conditioned around, that was what you thought was normal.
Yeah.
This is how life was, and that's that.
Well, yeah, and the big thing for me was I knew I needed money because it was the one thing that always stopped us from having something. So with the way I got my clothes was the church would donate clothes, and then I would wear them, and then I know I had to still take care of them because my brother needed to wear them once I grew out of them. Everything was hand-me-downs. We never went and bought anything new. We never went anywhere as a family outside of, hey, let's all go for a walk together. Things were donated to us. There was never, hey, let's go do something fun and go do whatever we want to do. So I never asked for things. I never asked for things because I knew it would never happen because we never had money. And my parents and my dad was like, his mentality was be happy with what you have. That's what he wanted to train me. Be happy with what you have.
Never strive for more.
No. Never strive for more. Don't worry about getting a better education. Don't worry about getting a better job. Just be happy with what you have. And that was, and I've spent 30 years doing my best to unprogram myself from just be happy. When I'm not talking about being happy. Working for Grant Cardone is not about being happy. It's about being free. And in order to be free, you need a few things. And one of them is going to be money. So when we talk about money at Grant's office, we talk about money all the time. But it's not about the dollars. It's not about what you have in your pocket. It's about what are you going to do with the money? because money represents freedom. Like cash, people say cash is king. Cash is not king. Cash is trash. It's paper. It's this right here. This all cash is. It's just paper. Until you use it, it's worthless. Cash flow is king. Constantly having cash flow come in, that's what the king is.
So being able to have cash flow so you can spend it.
Yeah, because if you don't spend it, it's worthless. You're not using anything. It's like you have a hammer and you're not using it, it's worthless to you.
Right. It's like people who lived in the Depression lived in a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
So money came in, all they thought about was how can I save it? How can I save it?
How can I save it?
But they could never expand past
yeah.
something greater and bigger.
I mean, Grant brought this up in one of the sales meetings he had for the team where it was like Pablo Escobar. His biggest problem was cash. Rats would eat it, mice would eat it, mold would get it, people would steal it, he'd bury it, it would dissolve. Like his biggest problem was the cash money he had. He couldn't invest it into anything. And there's a lot of people that want to store, they've got that scarcity mentality where I need to save it. No, what you need to do is store it and then take it and invest it in something so that money can start producing money for you.
That's an interesting concept. So think about that, guys. Storing your money, it's not doing anything for you if you're just storing the money. How do you make that money work for you in compound interest? So I know
exactly.
I know I know Grant has Cardone Capital, which has a lot to do with investing in real estate. And he is like a real estate arm that manages close to $1 billion in properties at this point. So that right there is a better way to store your money. Something that's going to give you a return or better than the bank is going to give
something
you.
That's real. And some people, I mean, some people on this call might not agree with this, but what we do at Grant's office, we don't ever gamble with the money. So we know 100%, unless there is a nuclear attack, people are going to live in apartments from rent between $1,000 and $1,700 in this country. Most people will live there. It's not ever going to go away. The housing market can go away. There's people that aren't buying houses anymore. There's, like right now, if you're between the ages of 25 and 45 and your parents pass away and there's more than one kid in the family and then you have to get rid of that house, you're not thinking, hey, who's going to move into the house and take care of the house because we grew up there. You're thinking, how fast can we get rid of it so we can get the money? And that's what's happening to the housing market. So Grant's philosophy is the apartments keep the residents in apartments keep growing, the housing ownership keeps dying. So what you're going to do is we buy apartment complexes, A level, which means you're living in a great neighborhood, you got a $3 million pool, everything's taken care of for you, you have amenities that you would never have unless you owned a $3 million house, and most people can't do that. And then he buys those. And then that money doesn't go anywhere, it stays there, but then it pays you every single month. Now, here's the great thing about Cardone Capital is most people, if let's say you're able to save $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000, that's still not enough money to go out and buy a $50 million property or a $100 million property that can really start driving wealth. But what you can do with Cardone Capital is Grant himself buys the apartments. And he looks at every single one of them. He is the only one that chooses the deal, and he puts his money in. And what he does is he allows you to come in and put in with his money. So what he gets paid, you're getting paid. His sister puts her money in. You and Grant Cardone's sister, his wife, his family get the same deal that you get, and they're paid every single month while that apartment keeps cash flow and keeps growing as an asset. And then you just keep getting paid. You got to be thinking long term, though. This is not a short term get quick or get rich quick. This is like a 10-year deal. So you got to be thinking long term. But most people can't do that because they're like instant gratification. I need to make 50 grand or 100 grand, and then I've got some money. You don't have anything. You're broke at 100 grand. You're middle class at $1 million. So how can you take that money and get it to start making baby money for you? It's got to make babies. That's what you need your money to do, make babies.
Awesome. You need your money to make babies. Baby money, not babies.
because those actually cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, no,
But you need
money babies. You need money babies.
All right, cool. So awesome. Well, I know that there's a lot of cool things that Grant is doing that maybe we can share during this call with marketing himself. By the way, Grant Cardone is probably one of the foremost leaders in social media marketing, and a lot of us didn't even realize that. But he's literally become famous from social media.
Yeah.
I mean, YouTube, Facebook,
Instagram,
Snapchat. What else is he on?
He's top 10 business influencers on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. He didn't have an Instagram 4 years ago, and he's at 1.8 million followers now. 7 years ago, he didn't have a Facebook, and he's over 6 million followers on Facebook. Number one business influencer on Snapchat. He says it's funny because the team is like, oh, you don't need Snapchat. You don't need Snapchat. Your audience, business owners and entrepreneurs aren't on Snapchat. It's 13-year-old kids. He's like, those 13-year-old kids have parents that are entrepreneurs. And those 13-year-old kids in 5 and 6 years from now are going to be entrepreneurs. So he's everywhere. If you're 7 years old or you're 77 years old, you know who Grant is, and he's there no matter where you're at to help you where you're at.
So let's talk about that for a minute. I think this would really help our group a lot.
Sure.
Just the fact that he's moved from 0 to millions of followers in a short amount of span of time. What has been the secret?
Piss people off. No, I mean, not really. Kind of get haters. But it's like this. You like, if you want to make a ripple in a lake, think about a lake. You got beautiful Lake Tahoe over here, this big lake. If you threw a pebble in it, you'd have a little ripple that went a little way. 3 or 4 pebbles, a little ripple. You got to think mortar round after mortar round after mortar round until you just completely obliterate the entire lake. So he would do 10 posts in a day, and then people would write and go, Grant Cardone doesn't know how to use social media. It's way too much. He's overboard. And he goes, go to 20, see what happens. Grant Cardone has lost his mind. He posts 20 times a day. Go to 50. And then he's doing 48, 50, 60, 70 posts on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, 2 posts an hour, every hour. And then all of a sudden, what do they say now? Dude, Grant Cardone's figured it out. Grant Cardone's everywhere. I can't get away from him, because you're thinking about a universe where one post, no one will ever see it. So he doesn't worry about what's in the post. He has his team that makes sure that the posts are great. But when he first started out, he's not worried about what's in the post, because it's not about the content of the post. It's about how many posts you can do. It's about quantity. You must be frequent before you get great. If you're taking notes, that's what you want to write down. Frequency before greatness. Anything. Michael Jordan became frequent at shooting the basketball before he became great. Frequency. If you're making phone calls, make phone calls, make 200-300 phone calls every day for a year and find out how good you get. I don't know how to make the phone call, Carl. I don't know what to say. Good, make the phone call. Get hung up on, go for failure, do it wrong. See how many no's you can get, because that is how you're going to become great.
Interesting. So yeah, guys, so let's just kind of break that down a little bit, because I want to make sure that we dive into it a little bit more. Someone asked a question like, how does Messenger like being used here? We're going to get into some ideas, but look, here's the thing, guys, and we were talking about this morning, was, you have if you become great, then you have a position of power, but most of us aren't there. We're not there. So what's the steps that it takes to get there? Because once you're there, then it's like shooting fish in a barrel when it comes to finding new business, because now you have a position of authority,
right?
And people come to you, they almost magnetize towards you instead of away from you, because now they've known, like, and trust you, and they've seen your message been beating you over the head. And you know what? There's going to be haters. Who really cares? That's good. Haters actually kind of help you in a way, because it caused this polarity thing. And when you get enough followers, other people will actually stick up for you and fight the good fight for you, which is
Grant told me this one day. I was like, man, somebody said something bad about my post, man. They don't like that I'm pushing so hard. He goes, Dave, if I could get half the people in America to hate me, I could be the president. That's true.
I mean,
Somebody's already done it.
there's no such thing as like that saying. There's no such thing as bad publicity, just different types of good publicity.
Yes.
I think that's kind of goes in there. I mean, obviously too, there could be career, wrecking publicity too.
Yeah.
But most of all, like if your intentions are good and you have a good product and you believe in it and you know that it's going to help other people, which I know Grant Cardone does. I know all of us do here when we're selling our messenger bot services. We do, but we need to be thinking about this, guys, because look. I've built this business to a certain point to where I'm starting to get authority and people are coming to me, magnetizing to me. Talking about big authorities are starting to magnetize towards me and they're like, hey, can you help me with my messenger marketing services?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're helping Dave with some of his messenger marketing services. We're helping a lot of other people. I don't need to get into them because we have NDAs. But the fact is, guys, is that because I'm pushing content out there, and I want that to be kind of like the preface of this actual of our podcast and for our listeners here is that the preface is that you need to have your frequency. You need to have a consistent content building frequency. And even if you don't have a team,
Mm-hmm.
you can still do this as a solopreneur if you just do it, if you schedule it, right? If you make it a priority. You guys could see Grant Cardone. No, I didn't know who he was, honestly, 6 years ago.
Right.
I had no idea who
And he's
he
been
was.
doing this for 33 years.
He's been doing this for 33 years. He's 60 years old and he hasn't even peaked. But if you look at Dave, 6 years ago, good friend of mine, 17 years now, he was like, hey, Carl, because I know you're in sales. I want you to go watch this video. And it's me listening to Grant Cardone closing a $20,000 deal on the phone. And it's on a YouTube page. I was like, I don't know, who is this guy? And he was like, I'm going to go work for this guy.
Yeah.
He was already painting the picture that he wanted to work for this guy because he saw the greatness that he was creating. So, but my point here is that if you want to be great and if you want to have an impact in the world, you need to produce more content. In fact, that was actually one of the secrets we gave away at our mastermind, but I'm going to give it to you guys as well on this call because I think it's just one of the things we need to start focusing on more as a group anyways. In order for us to get the results that we want, we deserve in the life that we want to live, we need to start becoming content builders and we need to start improving our frequency out there, guys. I could ask you, everybody on this call who's actually live with us during the live call and see how many people here are actually producing consistent content on a daily basis. And I could tell you that it's a lot easier than you probably think it is. Dave, you're now doing it every day. You weren't doing it before then.
Every day. Like it's something that I still have to practice. It's a muscle that I'm still developing, but it's every single day. And it's what's the most important to me that I feel can help others. So you see me in the gym, you see me at work, you see me role playing, you see me training on Cardone University, and you see me on deals. You see me running sales meetings. So it's the example that I want to set and what I want to be known for, and it's every part of it, and it's every day. Every day. Okay,
so that's the thing. He looks at this as like working out.
Yeah.
So every day, if you're giving yourself enough, what should I say? Like it's not like a mindset really, but it's like when you're doing personal development, it's a bit of a commitment.
Yeah.
Right. So you're committing yourself to like, I'm going to do 5 posts a day.
Right.
Okay. It's not hard. Not hard to do. How hard is it, guys, to grab your phone, film a video, and send that video out up on YouTube or Instagram? How hard is it to do that on a daily basis?
Well, here's the thing about commitment. That's the biggest thing working for Grant is we go deep into the fundamentals and the basics. Where most people are bored. They're like, fundamentals, basics. Show me the secret, man. What's the secret? The secret is doing the fundamentals and the basics every day and mastering them. So when it comes to a commitment, what's a commitment? And a commitment's going to take 2 things. And if you're taking notes and you came here to learn something, write this down. A commitment takes 2 things. Number 1, you need an investment of money. You have to invest your money, your resources, your energy, whatever that is for you. Most people, it's like, hey, I need to invest money. Like if you're going to do Segmate, you need to invest in a computer. You need to invest into software. You need to invest the money. And the second is going to be you need to invest time. You have to put in the time in putting in the messages, understanding the material. That's what commitment is, an investment of time and an investment of money. And that goes for anything in life. And if you're not investing time and you're not investing money, it's not a commitment, it's a dream. And it's going to show up when you're sleeping, and you're going to seem like you're sleeping forever. So you need to, how much of time and how much investment is going to directly relate to how much return on the investment that you're going to get.
Interesting. So yeah, again, that makes a good sense for a lot of people, because just showing up is not necessarily enough. It's actually doing the work, like putting in the actual work that it takes, because that's actually lifting the weights.
Yeah.
You know, you want to lift the weights to get your gains in life. So that way, when it's time to perform, like Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods, you know, they're practicing every day, so many swings a day, so many shots a day when they were at their greatest peak or even comeback, is because they put in that work that nobody ever sees.
That's right.
And that way you can perform when it's time to perform, and it becomes second nature. It becomes unconscious confidence. All right, Dave. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to end the actual podcast right here. I know you have more to give, but I'm going to go ahead and end the podcast right here. Before we end, is there something else you want to leave us with?
Man, if you guys like to follow me, the only reason I would ask you to follow me is because it helps me hold myself accountable to being an example of greatness. I'm not looking for average. I'm looking to be great. And the more I'm held accountable, the better it is for me. So on Instagram, you can follow me at Dave Robards, DaveRob as in boy, ARD as in Dave, S as in sales. And it's Dave Robards everywhere else, Snapchat, Facebook. And I would say this, in every decision that you make in life, you're either going to decide to be average like everybody else, like the 76% of all Americans that are living paycheck to paycheck, or you're going to choose to go for greatness. What I would say is go for greatness. It's the only thing that's ever truly going to pay you. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time today.
Awesome, guys. So we're going to go and wrap up the call for our podcast, Chatbots and Digital Marketing Podcast. I'm going to roll back to myself for the ending credits, and then we'll see you guys on the next call.
All right, there you have it, guys. Carl Schickert here, Chatbots and Digital Marketing Podcast. This concludes episode number 20 with my good friend Dave Robards, sales manager for Grant Cardone. He works at Cardone University. You could definitely go find him there. There's going to be some information on our show notes where you can find a way to follow Dave as well on his Instagram. His Instagram is pretty much blowing up, and that's usually where he puts most of his frequency into nowadays because it gets such a great reach for him. But we've also on the back end, we've actually now started tying in some of the chatbots. So if you do go check them out, you'll probably see how those chatbots do work. Also, we are sponsored by our application, segmateapp.com, SEGMATE. app.com. You can go there and get a 14-day free trial of our self-serve messenger chatbot. You don't need to know how to do code. You don't need to know how to do much, and we'll train you. We'll get you up to date on how to build chatbots and think about the logical chain of conversation, because this is what conversational marketing is all about. So guys, if you like this content and you've seen it to give you value, please share the wealth. Please share the knowledge. I'm giving you the knowledge for free. It's up to you to pass that torch and help other people around you as well. So share us on Facebook, share us on Instagram, share us via email, share us on Messenger. You can actually hit the share button and then choose Messenger as an option, and then choose which people you want to share it to. Probably other entrepreneurs, do-it-yourself entrepreneurs, or solopreneurs or business owners that you know would be a good person, because we will help them with their business. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. We will see you guys on the next one.